Uh, and we're live. Hello and welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with myself, Paul and Jenny from Host for Ghost, Angela from South Coast Ghost, Paula and Justin, investigators, Julia from Paranation, founder, Ghost Hunting Events, and the top. We think that's Luke in the bottom left-hand corner. Nod, yeah. Luke. There you go. Yeah, yeah. And the boys are back again for more. I don't know why they keep coming back, but they do. But Ben and Dave from Abnormal Paranormal, welcome everybody to Monday Night Paranormal Live. Hope we're all well and we're all ready for Christmas. So if you have any comments or anything you'd like us to chat about, throw them in the comments box and Angela will put them up on the screen and we can chat to you about them, or give us your ideas on our idea tonight for a chat about the paranormal. What we're going to do about tonight is about hoaxes. You know, is it real? Some of the stuff we get, do some people make it up just to make the event work? You know, can you tell? And the biggest question is, would you say something to the organizer if you thought someone was faking it? So there's a question. You know, would you go and say, or would you confront that person and say, I don't believe this is happening? You know, so it's a good question, thought by Angela. So it sort of begs the question whether you'd be brave enough to call that person out if you thought they were moving the glass or table tipping or making noises. And you know, I've seen this a few times on the investigation. Probably everybody has. The amount of investigations that we've all done, that you know, you have got to have massive trust in your teammates, haven't you? And the people that are with it, you've got to really trust them that they're doing the right thing. Because, you know, if it all goes wrong, then it's easy to get a bad name in this sort of game, you know, for doing that. And I myself, you know, we say when, like, we go on the Paranation Ghost Hunt events, you know, you get out what you put in, you know. So if you're not putting it in and it's not coming back, it's not like you go on a paranormal investigation and the spirits turn up. You could be there 8 hours and get absolutely nothing. You might be there 4 hours and get a tap and a knock, and that's your lot. You know, and you might be there 8 hours and you don't know where to run because every room's haunted. You know, but would you go to the extents of tapping, knocking, making a noise on the floor if you were in an event that's running a little bit quietly? I myself wouldn't, because I don't see the point, because we can't guarantee spirits are going to turn up on an investigation. It's up to them whether they join us or not. We can't force them. And, you know, and it's quite known, you know, some people have done it and do it. You know, we won't name any groups, but people do it just to get the coverage. And I feel that, you know, it's not fair on the guest if you do that. You know, it may impress the guest, but if you get caught doing that, how does it make you look? You know? So I'll throw the question out. Anybody want to add their bit to that?
Yeah, I can add a little bit to that.
Yeah.
We've been running Paranations for, since 2008, about 16, coming in for 17 years now. And, you know, it's my hobby. It always has been. And I think that, you know, hand on heart, I haven't faked anything. I've never faked anything. I've been a little bit suspicious of guests occasionally, and I sort of think, oh, you know, if I suspect that a guest is faking it, then, you know, I know, like, a long time ago there was a lady, but I tend to just step away and move away, and I'll move into another room, because I think I don't want to be associated with that if that is what is happening. So, you know, I will move away from it and take myself away from it. And if people want to believe it, then that's entirely their call. But I tend to like to move away from it and, you know, take everybody to another area. But I just think if you know, we're all out for the same thing. We're all out to find ghostly activity. We're, you know, it's all our hobby. It's our hobby. And, you know, if we can get something amazing, we're like, oh my God, you know, we got that. Like, you know, like, for instance, the whistle at the police station, you know, we're like, oh my gosh, you know, we've got that, and then someone else got it, and somebody else got it, and you're like, and, you know, it's just amazing. But that's like just hardcore activity, hardcore ghost hunting. And, you know, I I like pictures, I like photos. I like to say, look, I believe this could be a ghost, I believe this. And we have got some pretty good stuff over the years. Not every time. Not every time. We don't get a ghost photo every event or every other event, but sometimes, I know Gemma's got some really good ones. We might just capture something. And I think if you do fake it just to make out you've had a really good event, you're only faking it for yourselves. You're faking it for all those people that have saved up and paid good money to come on that event. They don't want to see that. They don't want to see people over exaggerating just to make them look like they've got a brilliant event. I've done events. I think we did an event. I think it's about 2018 we did one, and it was a little bit dead. It was a little bit dead. We had some K2, didn't really have an awful lot, really, bit of glass moving. And I apologized, and they said, no, that's fine. We've had a great time. This is what we've come for. Honest, ghost hunting. So yeah, I think that's about where I stand with it, really. I think, if you fake it, because it's our hobby as well, you're only faking it for yourself.
And would you talk to that person about that, Julia? Would you rather not have a confrontation and just let it go?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because they're guests and they've paid good money to come on an event, and they might not believe they're faking it. But I know that sometimes, there's been a couple of instances where I've thought, oh, I feel that's being manipulated. But I'd rather just walk away, and because I can't prove it's not.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. And if people sort of see stuff, you can't disprove anything, can you? And you can't prove
No.
anything. Okay, hi, it's Gemma. I trust everyone who I'm with as I know them. A few times I've been a bit suspicious of some people that I don't know. I like Julia. Oh, no, that's very kind. I tend to go away from it. Oh, sorry. I don't. I've read that wrong, haven't I?
Ow.
It must be your poor voice. It must be your poor
very, very
throat.
long day.
It's your poor throat, Julia.
I've been a bit suspicious of some people that I don't know.
Oh,
Like
what
Julia, I
the
tend to go away from it. On another hand, I sometimes think, am I pushing the glass or rocking the table subconsciously or not? I do question myself. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You just don't know.
No.
You just don't know.
I think that's only natural, though, isn't it, to question yourself as well sometimes when you're doing experiments like that.
But that's
I
a
think
good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the glass moves in a different way,
Christine.
doesn't it? Hi, Christine.
Hi, Graham.
Hi,
Welcome.
Graham.
Yeah, I think, like Dave's saying, it's a good thing to question. What's going on. Like Gemma said, could you do that subconsciously and not really mean it? Quite possibly. You're so into the night.
Very
there's so
possibly.
much energy, isn't there?
Mm.
It could.
I guess maybe just, if you do think, you need a bit of a break, take a break, for a couple of minutes and then go back on it. And but
You
I
tend
guess
to take your finger off the glass, don't you? You
yeah.
think, because sometimes I think, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong in this saying, that sometimes I think if we go on a board as team members, we can influence the board. Does that make sense?
I can go with that, Paul.
You can influence the board by being a member, where you really want the guests to feel that energy of that glass moving. And then if you're a team member, I know sometimes you have to go on there, don't you, and get it going for them and get the energy to run up. And then I always find that if you take a back step and it's actually moving with them, that's more evidence for them than it is for you. Because you think, well, I've stepped back. It's nothing to do with me. I'm not putting it on. Everything you're doing is you're doing on your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Gemma says that you can't question glass spinning under your fingers, and that's, if I'm standing away from the table, I can say, okay, can you make the glass spin like this? And it will do that. So, and my fingers aren't on it, so they know that I'm not influencing it in any way.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling them, the spirits, what to do and how to move the glass. But it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. because, you know, people pay good money to come, and, you know, maybe they, I don't know, maybe they're not influencing it. Maybe, you know, they are, you know, it is genuine activity. You just don't know. You just don't know. I think if you are suspicious, just walk away.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. What about you, Luke? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of table tipping.
Yeah.
I don't think you can fake that really, because it moves in a weird angle and sometimes taps underneath.
And it's the way your hands are placed on the table as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult to move. Yeah,
You have to have your hand underneath, wouldn't you, to keep it rather than on
especially,
top.
Especially as some of the angles that we've seen the tables go to,
yeah.
you know, where they're actually up on one leg, and they just defy gravity, don't they? You think, well, why haven't you fell over? Because you've gone to that point of going over, but you're not. And then you say to the spirit, you know, can you lower it back down? And that can't be someone doing it, because your hands are on the top. And we've all experienced it, especially with like Darren's haunted table. I mean, it's immense, that thing.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the things that does, it's mind blowing, isn't it? You think, well, how can that be done? How do they do it? You know, and I think I'm sort of like Julia, where if I think someone's faking it, I'd rather walk away. I don't mind having a confrontation, but then I think you drop the energy, don't you? You have a conversation, you know, you have a confrontation with someone, that energy in that building's going to drop, isn't it? So is it, you know, I don't know what's your, Paula, what do you think?
I changed computers. I don't know if you hear me.
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to switch computers because it's been like change over. We're going to change.
Right. It's sort of dropping in and out.
Yeah.
I do know that one of my friends went on a ghost hunt with a group, not my group, and he's a good friend of mine, and they were doing glass moving, and he doesn't go on many ghost hunts, so he questioned the glass moving, and the lady that was there sort of like confronted him because he dared to question, you know, about the glass moving, and, you know, her finger was on it and everything, and he dared to question her and say, look, I don't really believe it. I believe someone's pushing it. Now,
Right.
if that was us, we'd say, okay, well, let's turn our fingers upside down, or, you know, all the team members take your fingers off and just let the guests do it. You know, there's lots of ways that you could have handled it and got around the situation, or said, okay, let's try something else, a different experiment. You know, we don't need to do glass moving, we'll do something else. But she questioned him and sort of like made him, you know, look stupid really in front of, you know, the group. And then he was asked to leave the building. He's asked to leave the event.
Seriously?
Yeah. This was a few years ago. And I said, well, you know, and then obviously, you know, the friend that he was with had to leave as well because they'd come together, and it just caused like really sort of bad vibes. But, you know, and I just said, you know, my friend had a GoPro on him, and so he recorded the whole thing. I've seen the footage and everything.
Yeah.
And I just said, I just feel that they could have handled it better. Instead of being defensive about it, they could have said, okay, well, yeah, I get where you're coming from. Maybe let's do this, or maybe let's do that. But they just confronted him and made him look silly, and then asked him to leave. So,
Graham, to put all the fakers aside, we know what we know. If people don't believe it, then it's up to them. If spirits want to communicate with us, it don't matter what equipment you have. That's right, you know. And I don't, you know, I don't know what you're out to prove if you're faking it. What do you think, boys? What do you think?
Yeah, you don't gain anything. Like,
And what do you gain really?
I suspected it on events before, but yeah,
We've
question it.
We've experienced stuff at the ancient Ramin a few times when we used to go like with groups, like when we first started. I mean, there was people doing like table tipping, but
Yeah, it's
like he was
movement.
like there was like nothing happening on the tables each time, every time it was happening, and then like because there was nothing happening, this guy would always him. He would just get on the table, put his fingers straight on, and then just start like dancing around the room.
Yeah,
And it was like
obvious,
that's just so like
Okay.
extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's what we've experienced.
Yeah.
And did you?
don't
And
need equipment for
did that
stuff.
spoil the evening? Sorry, Ben. What was you saying?
You don't, like you say, you don't need equipment for stuff to even happen. So like, you
No.
don't need to do that. Like, I don't think it's spoiled. Just
You just go home questioning why would you do that? Because it's
Yeah.
not really. I don't think if it was me hosting an event, what are you really giving your people who buy tickets to your events? That's just stupid, isn't it? Really, it's not
Christine. Christine's put, I did table tipping with another person. The table actually climbed up the wall. It was amazing.
Oh,
I'd have liked to see
That's
that.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been something else, wouldn't it? But I find, I don't know about anybody else, but if that was to happen to me, your energy drops off.
yeah.
Did you find that, boys, that how your energy dropped away
Yeah.
once you think, well, hang on a minute, this is not right.
Yeah, because you question everything, then, don't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Well, trouble is, when you go on another investigation, you're forever watching what people are doing and not actually concentrating on the ghost hunt.
Yeah.
And it's like Gemma said, as long as it was at Shepperton. Oh wow.
We've
I think a lot of the paranormal world and the team and the group, we do with Paranation and all of that, is you trust each other. We trust everybody, each and one of us, 100%. Because we're there to help each other. If it is a quiet night, that's how it is. You try and stir it up. You try and do your best to get everything going for people, so people can experience what we've experienced. When it is full blown and tables going and the glass is banging and doors are slamming and everything's. You want people to experience that, but then you've got to put in what you've got to get out. And if people are just wandering around with their head, okay, we'll try here. You're trying to G them up, aren't you? Come on. And then you wonder whether you're sort of saying, come on, everybody, have a bit of a laugh, where they're thinking, well, why is nothing happening? Is it just not the building? Is it just us? And then people question themselves or others, don't they?
Yeah.
I think it's a positive attitude. If you go in with, really sort of like hyped and buzzing and, I'm really been looking forward to this venue, really looking forward to like seeing my friends and everything, and you're attracting good energy, you're giving off good energy as well.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go around going, oh, don't think much is happening, it's that sort of like it's like negative energy and so it is difficult.
Yeah, Gemma's put.
Oh, Gemma
like
says, I
when
like
Paul-
it when Paul does a circle and we all link in hands and things start happening. Cold spots, cat balls going off. Yeah, it's really good. Shadows. Yeah.
But the thing is, when we do the human pendulum, it's a combined energy, isn't it? It's just not me, myself. It's Julia. It's the person in the middle. It's the circle. It's having that element of trust, and we all trust each other because we all know each other. So we know that none of us would fake it. And when you truly get a true connection, you do get human pendulum. And me and Julia did one at was it the old convent, Julia? We had to take over. That woman was being pushed really strongly.
Oh, that was end of June, wasn't it?
That was amazing, wasn't it? How strong that was.
Yeah, and I'm only little, so I can. It's nice, sort of like to sort of like be there and do it. But I was like standing there like that, and she was like swaying. But I really had to sort of like steady my feet because she was just getting pushed so hard. And I said to Paul, I said, sorry, I said, you wouldn't mind just taking over? I said, I feel like, you know, I might drop this woman, you know, or not be able to, because it was the force that she was being pushed. I
Very.
thought, I don't think I'm like, you know, tall enough to be able to
Control it.
to stop her from, you know, sort of like
Yeah.
falling over or anything. So, yeah, so you stepped in, which was great.
Yeah.
But that was, I don't think she'd ever done it before either. So,
No, that's right. You're yeah. And I think, I don't know about when we're doing the human pendulum, I'm often looking around the circle and I'm watching the person in the middle and charming. Yeah, you're back.
yay!
Is it windy? Is it windy down there?
Yeah. The dog's
Don't
playing in the
mention-
kitchen, so that's why it's windy.
Don't mention the wind. Don't mention the wind after last weekend. Don't mention the wind, okay?
Yeah.
I'm all
But
winded out.
Sail away,
But
sail away, sail away.
I don't know why. I don't know whether everybody else, but do you tend to look around the circle when you're doing the pendulum, or when you're in a room with someone? This is a question for Paula and Justin. Are you constantly watching other people's body language to see whether they're actually getting that connection, or are they faking it because they don't want to be the odd one out, or what do you think?
I find when you do the human pendulum and then you're in the circle, and then when you're holding hands, you feel like a pulling in your back. So then you feel like you're pulling into the energies generating, and then what you do, I seem to go through a cycle of like as if you're feeling something, and then if you don't feel something, you don't feel it. And that's after a period, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. And then you may just sort of glance around, because sometimes you feel like you get like a slight tingly lightheadedness.
Mm.
And then when you're feeling that, you start thinking, is it just me? And then you look around, and then you do actually see other people moving slightly, you know, and then your brain goes into a thing of, do I say something or not?
Yeah.
You know, because you have that feeling of, even if you may feel like it, because you're always being called, is somebody feeling something, but then you feel something, but then you still have to agree with yourself, yes, I want to go and do the human pendulum. So you get the feeling, and then it's whether your brain feels like you'll be all right for doing it.
But then a lot of people that are newcomers around the circle don't really want to say anything, and you know, and we've all been in the middle, and we've all done it. I don't know whether you boys have done a human pendulum before, have you?
Yeah, pretty good.
You know, and with somebody, you say, Spirit, can you go around the outside of the circle and touch someone, push someone, make it, you know, and you clearly see somebody move forward, don't you? And you think, right, it's you. And you say, anybody? Because you don't want to point someone out, do you? You want to say, oh, it's you. Because it makes out that you're finding the person to go in the middle. So you need to remain that balance, don't you? Of not letting them come forward. And sometimes you see them and they go, has anybody felt anything? They all go, no.
Can you feel anybody either side of you swaying? No. And I'm like, you can. Look at them.
You can clearly see it, can't you?
They have to feel comfortable at doing it as well, really.
Absolutely.
Would anybody like to come into the circle?
Yes, me.
Anybody? Anyone this?
Paula does. But then I feel
I've never been a pendulum. So no.
I feel that someone from the guests walks forward and says, I'll do it. You know, then you're not pointing someone out. Do you see what I mean? If you point someone out, they say, well, how do we know they're not part of the team?
Yes.
You know, so we tend to wait back and get someone to come forward. I know Paul has done it a few times because he seems to have good contact. But do you see where I'm going with this? Sometimes if you say, oh, it looks like you, young lady, or Paula, or whoever, and then they'll go, how do we... Yeah. And if you let the client or the guests come forward on their own, say, oh, well, I think I was pushed, and then you get the reassurance, Spirit, can you touch that person again? And they walk out and say, yes, it was me. Then you're not faking it because you're allowing them to do to choose, isn't it? If you choose someone, say, oh, I think it's you, and then they'll say, well,
no, I think I was going to say, I think think the problem is a lot of people, when you're in the circle and everything else, I don't know if people don't believe or whatever, they're in the circle and don't know what's going to expect. And I think the problem is some of them might be, a bit scared or a bit worried or whatever. And if they've been, touched or pushed or whatever, they don't want to come forward because they don't know what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Don't know what's going to happen. I never knew what was going to happen when I was in the circle. I just thought, oh, okay, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
See
It's
what
that
happens.
uncertainty, isn't it?
Yeah. It makes you
know,
happy. First time I did it, I was a bit nervous. I thought, oh God, do you mean? And my heart was racing a bit. And I thought, no, take a deep breath. It'll be fine. Do you mean?
But what you got to remember is spirits not there to hurt you, are they?
No. People
It's
don't
just
know
a form
that,
of
do they? People don't know that, do they? That's
it's
the
a
thing.
form of communication, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another form of communication. It's like people, that you said about a Ouija board. Oh no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But have you done a Ouija board? No, I've seen it on the TV.
Yeah.
And it ends up with that stigma where a Ouija board is not a bad thing, is it?
No.
In the right hands.
In the right hands, yeah. If you
Yeah,
open
in the
up,
right.
you close it down, isn't it? That's the thing. You don't
Absolutely. It's knowing, it's watching that board, isn't it? And the way it's moving and what it's doing. And we all have experience of it. Luke, the boys, you're watching that pendulum and it does odd movements. You think, hang on a minute, why is it moving like that? Or it's sort of questioning itself. It's not sure. Or, you start to get into the figure of 8 circle with the plane. And you start to think, hang on, and it's going ZO, ZO, ZO. Something's wrong with that board. Do how, having that experience, how to shut the board down, say, right, that's enough, we'll come out of that, without anybody really realising something's trying to get in that shouldn't be there. And it's got that stigma from TV programmes. Oh, don't use that because that's dangerous. It's only dangerous in the wrong hands, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just go to the church and get blessed like I did years ago.
I always get blessed in the church, mate.
There was about 8 of us. Yeah, and it got so bad after a month, we all felt like heavy on our shoulders. We went to St. Nicholas's Church in Cotner, went in and got the reverend out. He opened the whole church up at night. We all had to kneel down and do a full blessing. And it just went after that.
But is that because you didn't know how to do the board, or is that because inexperience?
It's a chap I knew. He'd lost his mum, and he got into heavy. He was doing the candle, the ring, all this kind of thing. And then he said about the Ouija board. Because he was younger, you think, oh, we'll do it with you, because he wanted to do it so much to help him. But he just got stressed out in the end because what was coming through. And then after that, the dog was acting strange. We didn't see each other for about 4 weeks. And then we all met up in the one spot, bumped into one of my mates and said, Christ, I've been feeling really strange, heavy on my shoulders. And then one after the other, they just suddenly all turned up. So Nick's was just round the corner, went round there, went in there, got all blessed and everything. And that just sorted out. And I remember the priest there saying in our ears as we were going, to get rid of it, you must believe. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
That was through you just trying to help somebody. He knew what he was doing, but he was in a big emotional state because he was trying to contact his mum. He just had the dark side coming in and taking advantage of that.
That's like, people that are depressed, aren't they? Are very low because your defences are very much down, aren't they? So you haven't got that defence against the dark side. I don't know how you want to say it. When you're depressed or you're down or whatever, and that's like going on an investigation, isn't it? You always have to make sure that you're full of energy, you're full up, your defences are full up, because potentially we're walking into a situation we don't know, do we? We're going into the unknown, aren't we, basically? So we're trusting our body and our equipment and our team because each of us has got each other's back. So it's a massive trust, isn't there, when you do an investigation, that if anything happens, we know how to control it. We know what to do because we have many years of experience, don't we?
It's also what you ask, if I know, like some people feel it's okay to do it in their own home. And, is there anybody there? Well, that means anybody. That's
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
And I know they're just people, but there can be some real wicked people out there.
Yeah.
And when we do our events, we always say, we are only asking for people associated with the building, whether they worked or lived here, that sort of thing. So we don't really want anybody that's, we're not like trying to get anybody that shouldn't be there on the board, are we? Or the glass. What's Gemma say? What happens if you have mental health then and suffer with bad anxiety? How does that work then with the spirits?
Also, if someone comes along and they're feeling like that, because there's such good energy around the team and around the circle as in whole, you're drawn into that protection from everybody else. Everybody else's energy surrounds you, doesn't it? Whether you're a little bit down, the people that do the board that are on their own or they do it with friends, a bit like Justin was saying, he did it to help a friend out, but look what happened. And as a team, like it's probably like Ben and Dave, when they go out, they've got each other's back, they know each other's strengths. What do you think, boys?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we get some really weird stuff coming through on the board, and like in the when we were at HMS Warrior, we were trying to get communication through with people from there, but ended up Penn Spirit Guy comes through quite a lot because what we think his spirit guide just likes to protect us a lot, so nothing does come through. So I don't. Sometimes it's like
comes through everywhere.
Yeah, it's like weird answers come through at times as well. Like sometimes it's like two spirits are there.
Yeah.
Like the spirit guide's there and there's other spirits there as well.
Yeah.
It's like having your guardian angel, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't feel bad or anything.
No, they're there for protection.
Anything bad ever. So
that's why it's always good to ground yourself before you go in, and the same coming out. It just adds that element of a little bit more protection. And like Jim was saying, when you're in a team, a good team, you've got their good energy protecting you anyway, haven't you? So you're never really going to come to harm because everybody's protecting each other. Whether that person is a little bit down.
We also sort of place protection when we open the event and we close it down at the end. When we open the event at the beginning, when I'm opening up, I also place protection over everybody in the group. So I don't know whether that has any benefit to anybody, that is maybe not in a better place than others. I don't know, but I always sort of like do my protection, do my opening, do my protection, then do the closing at the end, so that everybody is sort of like everything is contained within that building. Nothing's escaping.
It's also that we don't go out to invite that type of energy anyway, do we?
No. We just want to find out.
Yeah, we're not looking for the negative or the malevolent spirits that want to have, on some TV programs you see, come on, hurt me, do this to me, do that to me, and you think, well, you're asking for it. Because you're playing with something you don't really know, isn't it? And we all know we can't see spirits, so we don't know what we're dealing with. So, how can you fight towards something off that you can't see?
Yeah.
But you can certainly feel them because they scratch you, or they can do. Gemma's put, so basically, if I do suffer with a mental health, if you are with a good team, everyone energy evens every. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good team. What? The table, please. Oh, what you want me to eat it? Give me dog food here. That's great. And I think that's right, Gemma. Because you're all part of a team that have good guardian angels, a good belief. We ground, like Julia said, the ground going in, growing out. I don't know anybody that's ever left an investigation with something with them, and we've done it. Sorry, Julia. No, go on.
I was just going to add that because we've been doing it for, before Power Nation, I was doing it with another group. So I've probably got over 20 years of ghost hunting under my belt, and you know, don't you? You just know when it's if you're doing something, you know when it's not going right. You know when there's something not right, and we have the ability to close it down. We have the ability to shut it down because we've been doing it for so long. We're experts in what we do, and as soon as we think, hang on, this is not right, like at Waverley, we've had a couple of experiences like that. We can just shut it down, and then we can shut that all down, and everything sort of like goes. So, and I think it's just to do with knowledge, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. I agree with that, because I'm a very big belief in, like, when you're in a certain place, you can, like, say if something bad's happening, I always get that feeling. My spiritual energy changes. It like picks up on the negative, and then to come away from that.
Yeah.
So you can always different energy changes, I think, when you go investigate it.
So the best tool to go into an investigation is what?
To be positive.
It's your body, isn't it? Your body will tell you whether it's wrong or right. Like you just said, Dave. You don't. The machines won't tell you whether the energy's wrong or right, will it?
No.
The K2 will still go to the red. The tri-field meter will still go up. You'll still get the communication, but your body will tell you that it's not right. Something's not right.
100%.
That's the best. That's the best tool you can go into an investigation, is listen to what your body says, because you'll get that fight or flight moment. You'll get the butterflies, won't you? You'll get the hairs go up on the back of your arms or the back of your neck, and you think, oh, and the machine won't tell you whether it's a negative energy coming, will it?
No. And you've always got to treat every location you go with the utmost respect as well.
Absolutely. Your surroundings and what's in the house or in the investigation. That was somebody's house. That's someone's energy within that furniture, and you do have to have the respect for that energy. If the spirit don't want to communicate at night, that's how it is. That's it. I think I dismissed what Graham put something up about Ludgershall Castle. Angela, wasn't it?
When I go to Ludgershall Castle, oh, there we go.
Oh, that's it.
I have no protection, but only good vibes there. So take potluck, really.
Well, you're giving out good vibes, so you're expecting that to come back. But I'm sure, Graham, if something was to come back a bit negative, you'd feel it. Gemma's put, to be honest, I have been on a few where it's been dark, and as soon as the group get that, we do shut it down and walk away. That's a good group, and some wouldn't. That's right, because some people, they want the bad things to happen to try and emphasise, oh yeah, it's what a great night that was. We had this come through, but we don't go out looking for that type of energy, because that, if you're playing with the dark side, you don't know what you're playing with.
To happen as well.
Absolutely, Ben. Absolutely, because any paranormal, you get contact and you get communication. You don't actually know what you're communicating. You assume it's the spirit on the other side that's on the EVP, that's talking to you through the app, or whatever. So if you go to an investigation positively, like Julia said, everybody's got positive energy. You'll only attract like positive energy to come to you. If you go looking for that fight, that negative energy, you will get scratched, you will get injured. But that's not what I feel. That's something that I would never do, because I wouldn't know how to control it if it got out of control.
Yeah.
So I prefer to stick to what I know. Like Julie said, if anything goes wrong, you just shut it down and walk away. Say, right, that's it. Shut the board down, drop the table, take the planchette off, slide it off the board, take it away, something. And then you've got control of your situation, haven't you? If you're playing with negative energy or whatever, I don't know what everybody else thinks. I don't think you've got control over the situation you're in.
No, you haven't. No, I agree with that.
Gemma's put, what could happen with bad spirit? Well, you could get an attachment, Gemma. You can get scratched. It's just like Justin was saying, how him and his friends felt heavy, didn't feel right, something was wrong. They knew something was wrong, but didn't know what was wrong. But fortunately, them meeting up, they got an idea that something's gone a bit badly wrong with what the communication that they did, which was good that they realised something was happening, but to all of them, not just one. Because you could have said, "Oh,
I think there was something else at play because when we all met up at roughly within 5 minutes in the same place, something was guiding us to go and then get it sorted out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
and that's probably your spirit guide." Sorry, Julia.
I have been scratched. I was at the Explosion Museum, and we were walking along, and then outside we were walking along a path, and this stone or something was thrown from behind us, and it landed in front of us. And we thought, oh, it's a bit strange. And it was only when we were going home, and I thought, oh gosh, I feel like my neck's a bit sore. I thought there was a bit of a scratch there, and it went all the way across my neck, and I was like, and it was like almost like a pin had been scratched along my neck. It was like that thin, and it was raised, but it's just straight across my neck, and it was really. It was only when I was like in the car driving home, I thought, oh, it feels a bit sore. But yeah, but that is the only sort of like bad thing that's happened to me was being. Oh, and I got punched at Manor Farm, but that's just like a little punch in the arm. But I wouldn't say anything really. You might get maybe shoved as well sometimes. Well, it can be quite bad, can't it? No, it's not. It's not.
Sometimes it's a way of them communicating, isn't it? Sort of shaking you. I'm here. Talk to me. A little like kids would punch each other in the arm, wouldn't they, for fun? And give and dig. Come on, talk to me. And sometimes, and like I say, like you were saying, you walk down a path, you actually don't know. It's like going to Waverley, isn't it? Because when we go over there as a group, we don't know who's been there the week before, the month before, what they've been doing, how they've done it. We go walking in there, don't we, expecting it to be the lovely Waverley Abbey. And sometimes we've been there and it's not been that nice and welcoming, is it? We all know that.
Yeah, we have to get the boys down there when the weather gets a bit warmer.
Yeah,
and maybe
we really want to go.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a trek for you, but maybe you could stay over. Maybe there could be like a B&B or something nearby that you can make sort of like a weekend of it and then go on and do something else as well. So
Gemma's put, well, I definitely got hit in the tooth last ghost hunt, but I'm thinking it was what Paul said, a cannonball. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're in these locations and you get like the mannerism or the feeling of how that person may have died. The Gemma's put, I've had my hair pulled, and the weirdest thing I had at Fort Widley had my ears burning hot and bright red but freezing. Because that, a lot of the time Spirit are trying to give you the mannerisms, what happened to them, or that, their story. They're trying to, you get something happen and, like Gemma get hit in the face. That could have been what that spirit died from. Just got hit by a cannonball or something, cloth when the cannons fire. They throw out all this debris. Yeah. And you might be you walking into that thing where you've actually walked and feel what they're feeling. The pain. Because sometimes you go on investigation, didn't you? And you think, why do I feel so unwell? Why have I got a pain in my side? Why is my arm hurting? And do you ever consider that could be the spirit that's trying to let you know how it died?
Yeah,
it could be, to be fair.
They say about birthmarks, don't they? But they reckon birthmarks is the trauma of the previous life where you died.
Yeah.
Because they're unexplainable, the patterns and where they are on the body. They're saying in a previous life was that person shot in the face or stabbed in the back, or, that's what some people associate birthmarks with, is the trauma from a previous life. I don't know what people think of that, about that, or it's going back to the hoax, isn't it? It's like, you've got to be very trusting in the team that you're with and the people that you're with. You're looking for that protection, for nobody to make it up and for the guests to enjoy a great night. And when you get that feedback back at the end of the night, what a great night we've had, not much happened, but it was a great night. I so enjoyed it. And that makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? At the end of the evening, after a really hectic, and you're running around like Julia does from room to room, you're making sure people are okay, having a good time. If they're not having a good time, go and have a cup of tea, recharge, and go back out again.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes your energy drops, their energy, spirit energy drops. You just need that 5 or 10. People don't want to leave in case something happens, but sometimes you've got to leave, haven't you? And go, right, cup of tea time, recharge, let's go again. And it happens, you know, and you try and slug it out in a room that nothing's happening, and it just drops, doesn't it? It gets slower and slower and slower, and it gets heavier and heavier. You think, well, there's nothing happening here. It's because you're not making it happen. But you go out, recharge with a cup of tea and fag or whatever you recharge with, and back you go again. And then you find it suddenly goes up. And it's like doing an all-night investigation, isn't it? You get to that time of the early hours of the morning where your human body is shutting down, isn't it? Because normally you'd be asleep. So you're going through that part of the moment where you think, oh, God, I am tired, but I don't want to shut my eyes. And Julia have vouched this, because Julia's done it. I want to stay awake all night.
I do.
Sorry?
I do stay awake. I don't.
They call it hitting the wall.
Yeah.
You hit the wall at night, yeah.
And you've got to go, at that time when you hit the wall, is the time you need to walk away and recharge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if your energy drops, you know, as keen as you are and you just want everything to happen on that night, sometimes it's just not going to do it because you're not in the right frame of mind, or your energy's dropped off, and it goes for everybody, not just you. Everybody's energy drops off around midnight, 1 o'clock ish.
Yeah.
Because that's the time that you normally maybe be in bed or relaxing. And then suddenly you're trying to keep yourself awake for 12 hours, 13 hours, 16 hours. And we all know what happens when you hit the wall after about an all-nighter, and you drive home and you think, my goodness, like I've hit a wall. You feel tired, bruised, battered. You know, you get all them feelings, and it's sometimes you've got to realise you've got to stop it, haven't you, and have that recharge moment. You know, and we all like a good cup of tea anyway. So,
Definitely.
so you know, it's like Jem was saying about spirit guides. You know, they're there to help you. They're there to protect you. They're there to lead you on your path, Gemma. They're there to guide you, really. You know, Jen's the one that tell you about spirit guides, and we all have them. Some people, spirit guides, guardian angels, you know, protect you from ward from evil, and all of that sort of stuff is what they do behind the scenes. We don't often see it, like Ben and Dave are lucky because Ben's often comes through. But a lot of times you don't hear anything from your spirit guide. You know, you're just moseying along. You know, if you stand up on platform and, you know, whoever's like Angela, you're doing platform or whatever, suddenly you're so reliant on them, you think, please don't let me down now. You know, you're really calling on them because you're standing there, and Jen will tell you, and you're putting your neck out on the chopping block. You know, and if the audience are a bit flat, it's a bit difficult. You know, and then you'll get the person who'll go, nah, can't go with that, nah. And then halfway through they'll go, oh yeah, you remember when you mentioned that person? That's right, yeah, I can go with that. I think, well, it's too late now because you just hung me out.
Do you think sometimes they just say that because they don't want to be like centre of attention, and they're just like, oh, no, I can't take this, just because they just don't believe it's happening, or?
Jen's gonna have a word.
I think sometimes, can you see me?
Yeah.
I think sometimes people don't like the whole room to know their business, that kind of thing. It's like last time Paul and I did platform together, no, time before, wasn't it? I said to one lady, I'm getting this gentleman and I feel that he's an undertaker or something along those lines. And she goes, yeah, I can take that. Anyway, that would have been a real clincher, because afterwards she came up to me and she said, yeah, we actually own an undertaker's. She didn't want anyone to think she was weird.
I think Angela was there then.
Yeah, you were there, weren't you, Angela? Right?
Yeah.
She came up to me afterwards and she said, oh, yeah, actually, we own an undertaker's. Now, if she'd said it at the time, like, everyone would have gone, wow, you know,
That
and
gives
sort
you
of
that
like,
confidence to push on.
but I mean,
And
I
you would
still
have got the
do.
credit for that, wouldn't you? Everyone would have gone, "Oh my god, do you remember when that medium did that?" And da 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 da.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
And
think
but
it's
you
your
know,
first
but
It's annoying, isn't
the
it?
thing is, see, now I've got used to that kind of thing, and you know, I just sort of go past it, and I say, okay, well, I've also got this information. Da la la la. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can take that. I can take. So I knew I was on the right track, right? So you know, I just sort of carried on from there, didn't I? I
Yeah.
can't remember what I said now, but yeah,
It's having that element of trust in your spirit guides, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Did you say something, Angela, just a minute ago?
Oh, just I think it was your first reading of the evening. So if she'd have
It
said
was.
yes at that point, it would have made it all sort of a bit
Yeah.
more cool,
Yeah.
rather than people thinking, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
And you stick
Yeah.
and you stick your neck out,
And you do, yeah.
and you do, and some people can hang you dry, can't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know,
It's
not-
like the time when I said to this lady, right, I feel as if I've got a young chap here who died in a motorcycle accident. He was a teenager. Or I can take the motorcycle accident, but I can't take the teenager. I said, okay, I'm going to say to you that he was 17, okay? And she goes, oh, yeah, that's right. He was 17. I said, yeah, so he was a teenager, yeah? People just love to make you look a dick.
People are like that with a lot of things, aren't they? Though?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like when I did with Jen and Angela and that, we did the bugle, and I gave a reading to the lady there with the motorcycle accident with the young chap and, and all of that, you know. And I said he's not of an English descent or whatever. He died very young, but he was rushing home, and she's going, but I don't know much about it, but which is fair enough. Some people don't, do they? You know. And then in the end, she said, "How did you know he's Polish?" But she couldn't have said that during the audience.
No.
But she had to come and say it after. And I'm like, well, just because I saw the Polish flag in my head here, I saw the Polish flag. And she said, oh, that's amazing. But when somebody does that to you and you think, especially me, because I'm still learning, my energy drops straight away. I think, well, maybe I'm not doing this right, or something's wrong.
No.
You know, I start to doubt myself then. What am I getting?
I had a medium say to me once, the medium on the platform is never wrong. It's always the recipient that can't actually either take the message, don't know the information, you know, like they can't confirm it, or something like that. Or they don't want to admit to it.
Yeah.
But then if you don't want to admit to it, why would you go for a spiritual platform reading?
I was just going to say that. I was thinking in my head then. I was thinking, why would people buy tickets to these things if they're not willing to?
I think some people
they believe
by friends or partners, don't they?
Maybe they just go to just out of curiosity, and they don't expect. You know, I've been along to them, and not expecting to be chosen or anything. No. And there was one when this lady came up to me. So I'm just getting comfortable. And she came up to me and she was like, she told me things, and I'm like, well, I didn't expect to get chosen or anything. But she did come up to me and she did say some things, and I'm like, wow, that's really quite interesting. So
that was the time we got heckled, didn't we? By those two at the back. I'm giving this message to this Irish lady, and she's going, yeah, and I've got your husband, and I can see you two going out dancing and all of this in the 60s and what have you, and even later on. And I said, he reads the newspaper, doesn't he? Or used to read a newspaper, and she's going, yeah, that's right. And I can see him underlining this date, and I said, he's showing me the 19th of June. Oh my God, she says, that was our anniversary.
Yeah.
And I went, bingo. And these two at the back were like heckling us, weren't they?
They were difficult,
but luckily I was on a real good connection with this lady, and it didn't put me off. But it can do.
It was only because Paula said she'd had enough.
Yeah.
And it was Paula's bravery that got them thrown out, because they were just completely disrespectful to everybody in the room that wanted to hear a message. Or if you didn't get a message, sometimes, you can give a message, but it affects 2 or 3 other people can go with that same message.
Yeah.
So it's not just one person, 2 or 3 people in the same room can have that. And obviously Paula had enough of these 2 causing a problem. Paula, I tell you.
Well, they were talking.
I think the worst thing is that it was ruining it for everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
It was for a reason. They didn't pay nothing. They came through halfway through, basically, and sat down. And every time when Jen was saying something, or you said something, Paul, they started giggling. So, yeah, right, do you know what I mean, type thing. They didn't believe, do you know what I mean, that you were making up. And the people in front of me, I noticed a woman, she was getting agitated, and her husband was turning around sometimes. And then the people that was beside them, a young girl and the I don't know if it's granddad or whatever, basically, they actually left because of it. Because
Which,
was a shame, wasn't it?
They left because I was fed up with them saying things in the background, and that's why in the end I turned around and said, is that basically, look, if you don't want to be here, you might as well leave, basically, because I said, look, ready. So I opened my mouth, because I stopped Jen originally. I said, sorry, Jen, stop a minute. I said, because she was really getting into it in the house, and she was doing really well. And I was thinking, God, she's getting all this information. But then, like you say, with spirits, people interrupting is going to make the energy go down.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, they were saying, blah, didn't believe, and they were drunk as well. Didn't help the situation.
Yeah.
Pub, so they're drinking. So that didn't make situations out. But the point was, they were there to have a laugh and a joke, they were. And they weren't there for what reason was there. Because a lot of people wanted their loved ones to come through.
Yeah.
And that's
but you're right. It really does affect the energy, and it affects you up on the platform as well. Yeah, definitely.
And then they started on everybody else, didn't they? Because they
that's right.
They got Malcolm to the girl beside, because she had to go back at him, and vice versa. We all had a little bit, and we all clapped when they went out the door.
Yeah. But that sort of knocks the energy down in the room, doesn't it?
It does.
Because you're on a roll, and then suddenly that connection's gone, because you're dealing with 2 people that I don't know how they got in, but they got in. If they clearly don't believe, why? Like Dave was saying, why do you go? If you don't believe it, why go? Stay out of the way.
Then that other woman started, didn't she?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when I said,
oh yeah.
Is there anyone here that didn't get a message that would really have liked a message? And she did, right? And I've asked her a couple of questions, and she's sort of looking the other way. I said, right, you've had your chance. You're not getting another one. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was well drunk. She was well drunk, wasn't she? It's very difficult, isn't it, when you're in that, and it's like, like we say in a paranormal night, you don't want anybody there that's just rolled out the pub.
No.
Like, you don't mind people having like a beer or a glass of wine with their evening meal.
No.
But you don't want people turning up. I remember we did one, many, about 15 years ago we did one. And it was going really well. The bookings were going well. We were selling really well. And we get like 3 bookings or 4 bookings or 2 bookings. And you were like, yeah, it's going really well. It's selling really well. And then this lady sort of like messaged me. She said, oh, you probably got quite a lot of bookings for this event. I said, yeah, it's selling pretty well. And she said, oh yeah, she goes, it's just that's it's my hen night, and these are all my people coming on my hen night.
Oh no.
If I'd known that, I said I could have like booked a private event for you all. If you had a set, I would have done a private one for you. And she went, oh no, that's fine. And I said, and I said, look, I know it's your hen night. I said, but and I'm happy to refund everybody, but it's not that sort of night. I said, it's literally just, I don't mind you having a couple of glasses or a glass of wine with your meal. I said, but I don't want to see anybody turn up and appear to be drunk. I said, because they'd be asked to leave. I said, please make that clear to everybody. Oh yeah, they know. And when they turned up, they were laughing, and you sort of thought, yeah, I can see they've had a couple of drinks, but could it be the nervousness of what's going on, and that sort of, some people get a bit giggly, and but it didn't go very well, and they were gone within the hour. So you know, I think you just have to make the right decision for everybody else, don't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, you do.
No, sorry, go on.
Oh, good, Paula.
I was going to say, I expect they expect
That
you.
was rubbish.
Oh.
That was rubbish.
Go on, Paula.
It is. I expect because they booked you all night, I expect they thought you were going to entertain them. I bet that's what they thought.
Yeah, but you know,
It don't go like that, does it?
there was a couple of things that happened, and we just said, look, you know, we're going to have to ask you to leave. You know, this is like you ruin the evening for everybody, and you know, we're going to have to ask you to leave. And we gathered them all in the lobby and told them, you know, that we want them to leave. And then they all started kicking off, and I said, well, we want refund, and I said, well, no, I said, because if you read my terms and conditions, I said, you've actually violated one of my terms and conditions by turning up drunk.
Mm.
I said, no, I said, you've broken my rules.
Which is good, isn't it?
Yeah, good for you.
I mean, me and Jen did one in Oxford, a pub, a little 14th century pub.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a shanty band that were doing a paranormal night. Like, you imagine they've been out to a band get together all day, so they'd been obviously drinking, and then in the evening they were there for the paranormal night. It was so difficult.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
It's not our event, so we couldn't say anything.
Will they recognise each other? Well, will they recognise it's another dog?
She can't see properly.
No, I doubt it.
We had such a difficult night with them, you know, and the organisers had them all on Ouija boards and everything.
Oh my
God! Know, it was just so difficult, and we left early in the end, didn't we? You know, even the organiser lady spoke to us. She said she knew who we were, and she said, "Do you know what? I wish I'd never have done this now." Because it's just so difficult. They were laughing and joking around, and then you'd have a break, and then they'd have soup and a roll you could have in the break, and they were drinking then. And I said to Jen, "This is not good."
Yeah,
you know, you can't do that. Like you say, if you go out and have a meal and have a glass of wine, that's fine, isn't it? You know, and then you come to, if you're going to an event and you've been on it all day, it's not fair, is it?
No.
Because after you're drunk, your inhibitions drop, don't you? So you get a bit more loud, you get a bit more leery, a bit more mouthy, and everybody's around listening to it. Sorry?
Speak for yourself.
If you're drinking, I can't see.
No.
Yeah, you do, I agree.
And then you get back to that thing where you're doing the investigation, and it's about the hoax, isn't it? Is it them doing it just to make a bit of a laugh? Yeah, it was me moving the glass, you know, and you're back to that, ruin it for everybody else and ruin it for the organizer, because they say, well, why have you got someone on here drunk? You know, why have you let him on the board? And it's back to that making up evidence, making up movement, and you don't need people like that. There's genuine people that love to do the investigation, that come there because it's a good group. They've heard so many good things about the honesty of the group, and they come for that, don't they? Because they trust the group. You've got to trust the group that you're with, haven't you?
Yeah, but I think also another difficult part of it is that you don't know who's booking the tickets. You don't know.
Very true.
You don't know who's coming. You don't know who. You know, we get regulars, newbies on each event we do. You don't know who's going to be turning up. You know, and we've had people turn up, and you know, they pretend to be this, they pretend to be that, and you have some really, I shouldn't really say, but some really quite strange people that come. But you know, the strangest of people can be lovely, really lovely people. You're all right, boys. You're all right.
A bit like abnormal paranormal, then, yeah. Just turn up out of the blue.
No, they're good boys. They're good boys. They're good grounded boys. Yeah, they're fine.
Yes. Are you sure you're just saying that, Julie? Because they're sitting next to you. Like.
No, they are. They are. They're good. They're good boys. They're good boys.
They certainly are. They certainly are.
But you just don't know who you know what you're going to get on an event or anything. You just don't know.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's your main concern, isn't it? When people come in, you're sort of trying to weigh them up, aren't you? You know, come in, have a seat. We'll be with you in a bit.
Oh,
And
they're
you're
going to
like
trouble.
looking at them. Yeah, yeah. And you're trying to suss them out. You think, oh, I don't know about them. Okay, next one, the sort of thing. You know, it's that type of metal detector in the airport, isn't it? Beep. Oh, I don't know about them. Beep. Oh, not that one. They look trouble. You get that warning going, don't you? But the majority of people that go are lovely, aren't they? You know, they're there to experience it, and they go along with it. You know, some people join in, some people are a bit worried about joining in or asking a question or whatever. But you know, we've all been there, haven't we? We've all been new to the game, and you think, oh, I don't want to ask that. No, I'll let someone else ask the question, or I'll stand and watch the glass, and then they walk away and think, I wish I'd have had a go at that now. I wish, you know, but like you say, some people are scared of the Ouija boards. They're not sure what's going on and why. You know, how is it moving? Who's moving it? I don't problem.
I think sometimes it's quite
Not
nice.
get Bo again.
I think sometimes it's quite nice sometimes, because like when we did the Warrior and everything else, that was nice because there was quite a lot of new people and they were really chatty, which was really nice. Because I think you know, when I was outside, a lot of people came up and I had a chat with them, and they told me that some of them are new, some will be done it in other ones before and everything else, which was quite nice. And some of them even you know, followed me around. Do you know what I mean? You know, I was like, I don't mind people tagging along. It doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? Who would tag along? And I had this young bloke, Paul, another, you know, I was on Paula, but he was Paul, and he come along. His wife was like, "Oh, I'm staying back. I'm not joining in." She was like that, but he was really getting into it in his house, and it was really nice because I'd rather let somebody have a go. Do you know what I mean? If they want to have a go themselves, I don't mind them, you know, helping them or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It was nice.
Graham, that's another story, and that's going to take a lot longer than the amount of time we've got.
It says, what about the bloke on the crutches at Gosport, Julia? Really weird, wasn't he?
Oh.
That's another story for another.
I'm going to say goodbye because I've got to carry on wrapping presents.
Oh, good to speak to you, Jen. So we did this event in Gosport, and this guy messaged me on the day and said, "Oh, have you still got spaces for tonight?" Never heard from him before, didn't know who he was, just popped up from nowhere. I said, I said we still got spaces. He said, "Oh," he goes, "I might like to come, but I've got a couple of friends that'd be interested, but I might come on my own." I said, "That's fine." I said, "You know, lots of people come on their own and, you know, make friends and that sort of thing. It's, you know, we're all very friendly in that." And he said, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Well, I'll have a think about it." He goes, "Are there any steps down into the venue?" And I said, "Well, I've never been there before, but I think there are probably about 3 or 4. I said, and he said, "What about any other steps?" I don't know. I said, and he goes, "Oh, it's just, you know, I've got mobility issues." So I'm like, oh, "Okay." He goes, "I'm on crutches." So I'm like, oh, it gets worse. And so I'm like, okay. I said, "Well, you know, we've got a couple of strong men. They're quite tall, and they, you know, they can help you if you need any assistance. You know, one can take each arm and help you if, you know, if you're up for that. If not," I said, "I think the best thing is for you to ring the venue directly just to see, you know, what type of venue it is and whether it would be accessible for you." I said, "Look," I said, "I've got to go." I said, "Because I've got relatives that live down in Gosport." I said, "Look, I'm going to meet my relatives for dinner." I said, "So I won't be available, but because I'll be traveling." I said, "But, you know, if you want to," being a silly, gullible person that I am, I said, "Look, here's my number." I said, "If you want to come, just give me a ring just so that I know to expect you." I said, "But if you don't want to come, don't worry." I said, "You know, that's absolutely fine with me." Don't ever do it. Why do you do it? Anyway, driving down, you know, on the way to meet my relatives, phone rings. "Yeah, I'm up for it." Comes through the car speaker. "Yeah, I'm up for it. I'd like to come." Brilliant. Be there at such and such time. Anyway, he turns up and he's got crutches. I've got a friend that's got spina bifida, so he's on crutches all the time. So yeah, it is what it is. And anyway, it looked like he had his rucksack on back to front, and he had his like sweatshirt over the top of his rucksack. And I thought, oh yeah, you know, I get that, because with my friend, he tends to lean himself up against the wall and like have a bit of a rummage in his rucksack, and then he's back on his crutches again. It's just, you know, makes life a bit easier. And I don't really know how much I should say, because it gets, you know, it's a story for like offline, really. But oh god,
you can't stop now. Now you've got everybody.
He said he
Everybody
was
hanging
taking,
now.
he said he was taking hormone replacement injections because he wanted to become a woman, and he had this massive, big, bushy beard and hairy chest. So there was like, you know, a bit of doubt there. And he was always on crutches, and I got one of my friends to put thermal imaging camera on his legs to see if there's any heat coming from them.
Oh, God.
Which was wrong. I can see it was wrong now. I can see that was wrong. But there was a lot more to this story, like ringing me at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, look, you know, this isn't on. I'm trying to get ready. Not a nice specimen. No, he's very, very strange man. And there was photos of him on Facebook walking his dogs, big dogs. So I'm like, okay. And then another time he left his crutches at the bottom of the stairs and like ran up the stairs, and you're like, okay, well, you know, okay. And one of the events he left early, so we're like, okay. And every time he came, he always seemed to like want to pair off with like women on their own, which was also a big concern. And when he used to turn up, he had his crutches on, and he used to wear like a really thin t-shirt, or he used to have like a sweatshirt on, then take that off, and you could see this yellow square. Excuse me, everybody, but you could see this like 2 yellow triangles of a bikini on him. And and he actually told me in a text.
Julius lost it.
That he was like a 34 like double D, because he'd been taking these female hormone injections to make him. Anyway, the last event he did with us, he turned up with his friend, and he didn't have his crutches, and he didn't have any assets on him. And my friend Derek, God rest his soul, Derek had a virus, so Derek was hard of hearing, so he had hearing aids. And he wasn't the most quietest of person. Derek was about 65, something like that. And Derek goes, "Oh, Julia." Julia goes, "Oh." He goes, "What do you think he's doing over there then?" He goes, "Where's his crutches and where is?" And I said, "Look, this is a story for another time." I said, "Let's talk about this tomorrow, Derek. Let's talk about this tomorrow." I said, "It's not really the place to discuss, you know, where his assets have gone. They really disappeared tonight." But it got, you know, there were so many. It got to a stage where he went to the wardrobe too and put his crutches by a door in the main lounge so he could walk. Really? Yeah, he ran upstairs, didn't he, Graham? Do you remember that?
Oh my god!
But you know,
That's quite scary,
Graham will vouch for me that he came. He had a full bushy beard. You could see all this chest hair, but he had these assets at the front of him, which was quite unreal. It was just the most bizarrest thing I've ever had to sort of like try and keep a straight face over.
How funny.
Because you're talking to this person and you're like, you know, what is going on here? You know, what is going on here? Because this is clearly like some sort of like, I don't know whether it's a fetish or.
Oh my god! How difficult was that conversation?
Yeah, you know, and he was always very loud, and he was always very, you know, exaggerating on things, and but he did like 6 months with us, and then he tagged himself on Facebook as being in Guildford, and then I got this message saying that he was in Birmingham he's just had his hand amputated. I'm like, yeah, but you're texting me, and he sent me a picture of this like dead hand. And he said, "This is my hand. I had to have it amputated." And he said, "I've just come out of theatre." And he said, "Oh, tomorrow I'm going to have the other one amputated." Now, at this time, I think I needed therapy. I think I needed therapy, and so I confided in my friends because I was like really sort of thinking, someone's got to try and help me out here.
Yeah.
And so I confided in my friends. I'm gutted I missed out on all of that entertainment. Gemma, you would have loved it. In fact, yeah, you would have loved it. But it was quite unnerving at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And when he said he was going to have the other hand amputated, I confided in one of my friends, Gemma, that was Mark, your friend Mark, and Mark said to me, "Oh, it's just hats for Christmas then," because he had no arms and legs. So you could only buy him a hat, couldn't you?
Yeah. A Paranation hat.
And call him Bob.
Bob.
He was more he was more unbelievable than anything paranormal. He was amazing, wasn't he? And then after the amputation of his hand and him texting me, I just said I said, "Look, just be honest with me." I said, "Everything you've told us was a lie." And he said, "Yeah, it was. Please forgive me." I said, "Look," I said, "it's not just me." I said, "But all these people have welcomed you into our group and treated you with respect, and you've just taken the mickey out of everybody and disrespected everybody by." And then years later, I met this lady who happened to be a really good friend of his, and I didn't quite know it at the time. And I said, "Oh my God," I said, "he came on our event, blah blah blah," and it's like this and this, and she was like looked at me as if I was like talking about someone completely different. I said, "No, it's definitely him." I said, "I've even got pictures somewhere," I said, "of him dressed like this." And she was like, "Oh my God." She goes, "Why is he like that?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. It was like some sort of weird social experiment, I think." But it was just like the most, Graham will remember, and a couple of the others will remember, like long-standing friends. But it's got to be probably the most weirdest person I've ever had on a ghost hunt. And he came for like 6 months, and then after the hand amputation, we're like, "No, this has got to stop now. This is like just weird." Because you're going to turn up with both hands, aren't you? You're going to come on an event with both your hands and like, "Oh shit, how did that happen? You got your hand back, and you're texting."
Your hands grew back. Look at that. It's a miracle.
And you're walking as well. You don't need crutches today.
It's not Deadpool, It's not Deadpool that brings them back.
Oh, it's just got to be one of the most bizarrest things.
With the army guy, wasn't it? Where he pretended he had claws. On Tropic Thunder, the film.
Oh, right.
He lost his hands with claws, but he was holding the claws there.
How funny. Having a midlife crisis. I think it's a bit more than that. Blimey.
Where would you get it from? Why would you make up such bizarre story about yourself?
Quite sad, isn't it, really?
You? Yeah.
Holds attention. Maybe don't get attention anywhere else. That's why he's done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite sad, really, isn't it? Bless him.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's a reason behind it, isn't there? We'll never know the reason. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
it's weird.
Any other comments? No. Okay. So that's it for tonight. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you, Graham, for dropping in, and Christine. Always good to have your comments on here on a Monday night live. So we'll keep an eye on the thing, because I'll speak to Angela, because a few of us are away from next week onwards. So we'll discuss whether we come on and do a short one next Monday, and then come back on in the new year when we've all refreshed.
Just to let you know, we have got grandchildren next Monday.
Yeah, we've got the grandchildren next Monday, so it could be spooky happenings. Or murders, one or the other. But that's between us. Don't let anybody else know, eh? We're not live, are we? Anyway, it only remains for us to say from everybody on here, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us on the panel. And thank you for the comments over the year. So we may be back next Monday. Come and join us for our last one before Christmas. So some of us are busy over the Christmas period, so we probably won't see a few of them. I don't know what, boys, are you up to much over the Christmas period?
I'm away in Hastings on Monday.
Are you?
Yeah, Ben's away.
Yeah.
He's near
got,
your end, I think.
He's nearer us, isn't he? Hastings. Go to the True Crime Museum in Hastings. It's good.
Oh, yes.
I've not been there, but yeah, I've seen
It's
it.
good, yeah.
Go there. It's really good. Fish and chips are nice there and all.
Yeah, yeah.
We've
We can
got
vouch for that.
convent on the 4th of January. We still got
Yeah,
Definitely.
looking forward to that.
spaces, not many, but we still got some spaces if people want to join us.
Yeah. So there you go. Go onto the Paranation website.
We'll be on there.
And
We'll be there.
go on there, book your places. There's loads of events coming for next year already, as you can see on Julia's Paranation. So get booking, book. They're all good events. Merry Christmas to you as well, Christine. And thank you for coming on. We really appreciate your support. And a Happy New Year to you and your family. So go onto the Paranation website, book. Lots of great venues coming up in the new year. We're all looking very excited. The convent, I can vouch for that. That is a great place. You know, get your tickets, get to the convent. You won't be disappointed in that place. It's a great venue, really nice house, and it's just fantastic. A fantastic venue, along with all the others. So get on there. There'll be more ones coming on, I'd imagine, Julia, over the year. Is that right?
We got some spaces, so we're going to be.
I love that. It's as I'm going across to France in a dinghy because my passport has run out. Love that.
Great. He's going across to France in a dinghy because his passport's run out.
Safe travels.
So take some puncture repair kit with you, Graham, just in case you get a little puncture, mate. We wouldn't want you sinking in the middle. So only remains for me to say once again from all of us on here, Happy Christmas and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Be safe in the festive period. Drink lots of spirits. Contact your spirits, because I'm sure there's a few waiting to get there. So it remains for us to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from everybody on the Paranormal Monday Night Live. Take care, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.